fun was something one was considering when seeing Avengers Infinity War. But after seeing it, it still puts a smile on my face. And I actually like the glow on that a lot better than I did outside. So I've been redoing this video because I actually went outside specifically so I didn't spoil my dad on anything. Luckily, I hadn't hit any real spoilers yet when I was doing it. But then he went outside. Obviously, he didn't realize why I went outside to do the video. Point being, Avengers Infinity War. Now, I saw it with Mark and my girlfriend, who actually wishes to just remain anonymous, even though you've heard her name a couple times. And I'll give the brief opinion on her, but she's got photophobia, so photophobia. She doesn't like being on camera at all. She doesn't. It makes her uncomfortable. So I mean, I'll briefly give her opinion of what she said and me and Mark's opinion. But yeah, it's the culmination of the MCU. 10 years were going, leading up to this event, and we're of three minds. I think me and Mark are very much similar mind, but she was very. She liked it up until the end, and a lot of it is the fact that I think she just didn't, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for her because that's not fair, but she kind of didn't understand how to process that ending. Me and Mark on the other end, I think I liked it more than Mark simply for the fact I did not react to the credits rolling the same way Mark did. Mark literally went "F you" loud enough for I think some people heard him. I, on the other hand, did not. I thought the ending was ballsy, but I'm like, I dug that. I'm like, wow, they really went ballsy on that ending. Right on. But no, me and Mark really liked it. Really liked it. Absolutely. And, I mean, and I'm going to go maybe about 5 minutes without spoilers, and then I'll give you the spoiler warning, and I'll go into full spoilers. But it's the culmination of the MCU. All these characters coming together. And I will say this, if this were just a standalone movie, this would be entertaining, absolutely. But it would be messy, and most people wouldn't know what the hell's going on. But because we've had so many films leading up to this now, that we're so used to these characters, it's been around for so long, we've become accustomed to these characters, that it's something very special that has happened here, that we were able to culminate everything that's been happening in 10 years into a story. And the one criticism I heard for him was it is crowded, it is busy. And it is crowded, it is busy. But for me, actually, that didn't bother them because there's so many characters. I thought for what they had to do, they managed it really well. Is it busy? Yeah, but for the amount of characters they had, all the characters get at least a little bit of screen time, and some more than others, and a little bit of screen time, and at least a couple moments to each character. At least one. Every character gets at least one moment. But of course, that's playing second fiddle. In fact, the heroes actually aren't the main character in this. They're not the character you're following in this movie. It's Thanos that you're following because he's the newest. I mean, technically, he was introduced in Avengers at the very end of that post-credits scene. Then he had a brief moment in Guardians. He's mentioned in Guardians 2. He's got that post-credit scene in Avengers 2. But we haven't seen him, really seen him, until this movie. So, as the big bad, as the guy going through here, he is the one you're following and trying to understand his motivations. And let me tell you, in that first 5-10 minutes, you see why he is the Mad Titan, the strongest being in the universe. The man who bitch slaps the Hulk. The man who Thor can't take on. The man that no individual hero can take on. We'll see what happens when Captain Marvel comes out. But no individual character could take on. And why he's so feared. But why he's so fascinating and compelling. Because he's not just a mustache twirly villain. He's not just there as a thing as a mirror reflection of the hero to help the hero's journey. No, they give you his reasoning. They give you his understanding, and he is a character who thinks what he's doing is the right thing. And when you actually when you really listen to him, and I'll get in more of this in a little bit with his true spoilers, but you kind of get, you understand. You don't necessarily agree with what he's doing, but you understand why he's doing it. And It is. I mean, and you hear him talk to characters like that. It's like he's not just evil. He's sophisticated. Honestly, he's intelligent. He has intelligent conversations with like Doctor Strange or Iron Man or Gamora. Um, and now it was he's fantastically. He's arguably he is probably the best villain we've had in the MCU. He is. I've heard people argue Heath Ledger. He's arguably as good, if not better than Heath Ledger. My hair's being weird at the moment. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I agree with the people who say there's an argument to be had on it. Also, and of course the action. I actually, you know what? That is one negative. Like I actually can point out is that the action is in some only in a couple scenes, like with the big fight scene in Wakanda when and you see these in trailers when Proxima Midnight and Corvus Clave go after Vision and Cap and Falcon and Black Widow together. Those action scenes are a little hard to make out initially, but then as the fights go on, it becomes easier to make out. And it's also, and that's the thing, it's also a funny movie too. It's not just dread and gloom and doom. It is you're laughing a lot in the movie. You are, and I'm just gonna use my infinity knee. Just so yeah, you're getting a lot of that. In fact, another reason you're probably gonna have to see it more once is because you're gonna miss lines. I know for a fact I missed lines because we were laughing. But yeah, it's an amazing achievement of a movie. I highly recommend it on that regard. So at the 6-minute mark, I'm basically going to say once we hit 7 minutes, we're going to go straight into spoilers. So is there anything I can add in about 15 seconds? Yeah, pack some tissues because this is going to be an emotional toll on you. Definitely do that. I do like the fact they also just brought some minor characters back, like Pepper Potts is in there. Some individual like Happy Hogan and Valkyrie and Korg were supposed to be in the movie. I think they were probably just cut. And we're in spoiler territory. So basically, I mean, the film opens up literally right after Ragnarok. So basically, in that post-credit scene, you see where Thanos' ship's coming in. You get a distress signal, and you just open to Thanos having immediately bitch slapped everyone on the Asgardian ship minus Loki and the Hulk. Loki's just being held at like spear points. Like, okay, we want the Tesseract. Thor just got his ass handed to him. He's torching him with a Power Stone. And then Loki's just like, yeah, well, one thing. And also, we have a Hulk. And the Hulk just comes in and starts wailing on Thanos. But none of the Black Order are like, no, Ebony Maw, who's arguably the strongest one, she's like, let him have his fun. And immediately just, boom, nails the Hulk in the neck and starts beating the ever-loving crap to the point where me and Mark and my girlfriend were like, oh, crap. And then Hulk's just lying there, just, oh. So, I mean, right off the bat, they let you know just how menacing Thanos is, because not only does he do that, not only is Heimdall killed, then and a lot of people speculate Loki dies, but Loki doesn't die. I mean, Loki tries to, like, kill Thanos, but Mark commented, me and Mark both were like, oh, God, because he just choked him to death with the gauntlet, and you just see his turning his eyes bugging out and almost bursting out of his head. Just, damn. Just, damn. And Heimdall sends Hulk to Earth. So, I mean, and that's it. It's like Hulk is basically playing the Silver Surfer role in the movie, where it's like we're warring Thanos, and we get only one scene with Pepper and Tony, but that's fine. It worked because then Strange comes in as like Tony Stark, and congratulations on winning. So that's something they played over from Spider-Man: Homecoming, where it's like, oh, we're gonna get engaged, and like, no, they actually are gonna get married, hopefully. But where this movie really succeeds, in my opinion, is two things. One, Thanos. Thanos is the crown jewel of this movie, and he's brilliant. But also is the character interaction, because you have like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Wong. Actually, no, Wong isn't with Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, and Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis all working off each other in their group scenes. You have Rocket and Groot and Thor. They were also fantastic. And then you have Vision, Black Panther, Cap, Bruce, all of them in Wakanda, and they're really good. I would say the two better groups were easily Groot, Drax, and Rocket. They're definitely played a bit more for comedic purpose. And just because of the nature of those characters, particularly Thor after Thor Ragnarok, he's a bit more jovial, but after losing like half his race and his brother, and his world and his dad and his sister, and his best friend in Hemdall, um, he's a bit more toned down. And apparently, fun fact, Thor can speak Groot. Um, so I would say like so actually arguably I would say the best group was probably Stark, Strange, Peter, Quill, Drax, Mantis. That group. That was probably the best combination of characters. Now I can't. Obviously I wouldn't go plot point by plot point because we'll be here all day, and I can't. I've only seen the movie once so far, so I can't say for certain where I'm gonna. If I would be able to do beat by beat, I don't think I could. What I will say though is I'm happy we got at least one song off Star-Lord's Zune. I can't, and I also knew the song too. I just don't remember off the top of my head. I've only seen this again. Only seen the movie once. We're gonna have to see it again to make sure. Probably we'll see it Tuesday for matinee. But I mean, what this film really captured was this film is a little messy. I won't lie, but it works in that regard because between every one of those messy moments is Thanos usually, and his through line and his entire story arc is well handled, very well handled. But it's a series of moments. Everyone has moments. There's a moment. Also, another thing is there's a moment between Drax, Peter and Gamora, which is really beautiful because we've learned that after because it's implied after Guardians 2 that they pretty much like that unspoken thing that they did love each other, and it's revealed in the movie that they very much they were in love. They were actually a couple at that point. So she asked him, like, you got to kill me until Thanos doesn't get to me. And this is one thing where I won't call this a negative. I'm like, I know how something's going to play out because of just looking at the trailer and looking at the way that they're setting things up. When Thor is talking about the stones, the Infinity Stones, he stole the Power Stone from Nova Corps. He just took the Space Stone. The Mind and Time Stone are on Earth. The Reality Stone's with the Collector, and no one's ever seen no one knows where the Mind Stone is because no one's ever seen the Mind Stone. And then Gamora has a look on her face. I'm like, okay, she knows where the Mind Stone is. And sure enough, she knew where the Mind Stone was. Soul Stone. So, yeah, and then, like, when we see Thanos torturing the Collector for the Reality Stone, Gamora stabs him in the throat and he's dying. I'm like, he has the Reality Stone because this is clearly not the end of the movie for Thanos. I'm like, and yeah, he had the Reality Stone, which Mark looked at the comments like, Thanos can't be as awesome because he knows what bubbles are. He turns Star-Lord's bolts into bubbles. And he like turns Mantis into like shredded ribbon and like Drax into like a Jenga piece for a while because Reality Stone alters reality to whatever the whim is. He does it at one point to show Doctor Strange what Titan looked like in its prime, and then it just reverts back to the desolate place. I'm surprised Titan still has oxygen on that planet for the characters to breathe on. So it's. And then near the end, where we learn about the Mind Stone, how you can destroy it if you possibly have a similar energy composition to it, like Wanda got her abilities from it. Wanda destroyed the Mind Stone, but I'm just like looking at this because Thanos is like, oh, and he walks up, I'm like, and I'm watching this, and then I immediately realize like, no, he has the Time Stone, he can reverse the shit, and sure enough, that's exactly what he does, and then just rips the stone out of his head and puts it in the gauntlet. So, I mean, in that regard, I did find it in a couple points predictable, but nothing that hindered the film for me. One thing I'm going to point out right now is that we're in spoilers right now. We are. I already labeled it. I'll tell you, I'll even put it in the description what the spoilers are. The deaths that come in this movie, some of them I saw coming. Like Loki, I think most of us saw coming. But Gamora, I did not, particularly the way she went, I'm like, because I have heard that theory about the Soul Stone, that you need to sacrifice a loved one to get the Soul Stone. I had heard that theory, but I wasn't certain, obviously. And that Soul Stone was like one of the big MacGuffins in the film. Like, where is the Soul Stone? Why haven't we heard about it? And we also don't really see what it does. Like, at one point, we kind of see when Doctor Strange goes astral a bit, he uses the Soul Stone, and It kind of affects him in some way. But the little I know about it in the MCU version is that Wong in the prequel comic says the Soul Stone might be the most dangerous one of all the stones, but we don't really see that one in action very much. But yeah, I mean, Gamora I didn't see coming. I figured the collectors did. Mark argues that there's a chance it could be alive, and I'm not going to say there isn't, but after we see what the place actually looks like, because Thanos was masking it with a reality stone, I'm going under the apprehension that the collector's dead. So, I mean, right at the bat, you got Heimdall, Loki, Gamora, and the collector dead. No other real character dies until near the end, where Vision is. Mark actually made a good point because I'm sure he was trying to upload the Vision into something, or basically transfer the Vision, some conscious or something along those lines. It's very possible Vision's not dead, but at the moment we have to treat it like the Vision's dead. But then you get the infamous at the end that. A second. I can't snap my fingers as well as I can my eyes. The infinite finger snap. But it wasn't just a snap, it was a boom. But here's the thing. I'm going to save that part for the end because I have thoughts on that. But overall, I mean, the humor all were. I mean, particularly Thor working off the Guardians. That was just gold every time. He's not a dude. You are a dude. This is a man, a big, strong, handsome, muscular man. And she's like, as I thought I was killed by. She's the daughter of Thanos, adopted. And he just looks at her. Family can be difficult. I understand your pain. It's like, yeah. It's like, you will not go for the Solar just magnet because he's feeling threatened by him. And then I should also point out the Black Order. I liked the effect. Ebony Maw was the best one, hands down, because he was easily the most unique. He was very much like a preacher. It's like, rejoice, for your meaningless lives will be sacrificed for Lord Thanos. And then it comes to Earth, the rejoice is like, and Thor starts like, yeah, shut up. It was cool to see the bleeding edge armor though, too. I did really like that. And I'm one of the people who liked Iron Spider because I've heard people complain. Most people liked Iron Spider, but I've heard a couple people, particularly one person in general, I really like to watch, complain about Iron Spider because like, you're making him Iron Man Jr. Why didn't you give the other people suits? Like, because none of the other Avengers are 15-year-old kids. Why would he need to give them a suit of armor? Not only are they 15-year-old kids, he's the one, not 15-year-old. Not only are they experienced adults, but Tony's more or less the one who brought him into the fray and kind of upgraded him. He's kind of feels responsible for him, so he'd want to give him the best chance he felt possible to make a difference. So that's the whole. It easily makes sense why he'd make him an Iron Man suit for me and no one else, because he doesn't believe anyone else needs one. Yeah, I'm like, really? That's your problem with it? But anyway. So I did like Iron Spider. I thought the Bleeding Edge was really cool. Of all the characters, like the hero characters, I mean, Thanos gets the most attention, obviously, but all the hero characters, I believe Strange, Stark, Star-Lord, and definitely Thor get a lot of attention. Spider-Man too. Though, like, all of those guys get a lot of attention, but particularly Strange, Stark, and Thor, I think they get the most attention. Cap honestly doesn't. I mean, Cap's good in it. He's great. When he shows up, everyone just was really happy to see him, like, clapped and cheered and everything. But Cap was. I mean, a lot of characters are underused because nature of the movie, but was he used effectively? Sure. Yeah, I'm certain his big moments are going to come more in the second movie, or next movie, where he gets his shield back. Because he's getting his shield back in the second movie. Him and Stark are going to, like, patch things up, and they're going to work things out. They also explain why Hawkeye and Ant-Man aren't in the movies, that they basically kind of took deals to be on house arrest because they didn't want to put any more burden on their family. That's basically it. That's exactly what they did. So they're not in the movie because they're not being heroes right now. Which makes me wonder, because I've heard Ant-Man and the Wasp either takes place before or during the events of Infinity War. And I have a feeling what's going to happen at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp is what is basically the end of Infinity War, where people are going to start fading away. Like maybe Hope's going to fade away. Maybe Michael Douglas fade away. Ant-Man will still be around. Or maybe his daughter's going to fade away. Some people are going to fade away. It was. I did like Peter Dinklage's cameo. It was. I knew that was him coming because I knew he was in the movie, but I had to make sure that was. I was watching what I was watching. I'm like, okay, so he is playing a giant dwarf. I'm just wondering if the CGI, like superimposing him, is gonna be distracting. And I will say, I think I noticed a moment or two where I could tell it's like, oh, he's in front of a green screen, but no, it's okay. It didn't. I didn't mind it. And then once Thor and then Groot actually using his arm to make the handle of Stormbreaker, that was pretty awesome. Thor showing up on the battlefield and just wrecking fools, just yeah. He has a good moment with Cap's like, oh, I see you. Say, hey, you cut your hair. I see you stole my beers. There's just some great moments. Bucky getting a new arm and picking up Rocket and just it's like, how much for the gun? How much for the arm? Gives Thor a new eye, which admittedly is not. Like, yeah, you might want to watch that because I had to steal it by hiding up my ass. And there's just great moments. But again, this is Thanos' movie, and he gets the most screen time, and he is the most complex villain, and probably one of the most complex characters we've had in the MCU to date. Because we see the flashback when he invaded Gamora's homeworld, and it's Gamora remembering this, and we see him that despite because the reason he is the way he is because he recommended the Titan was facing catastrophe. He said, let's do just we have to do a culling, randomize it, rich, poor, everyone. But nope, we aren't gonna do it, and Titan fell to ruin. So he didn't want to see that happen again. So despite the fact he is doing heinous things, he is doing it theoretically for a right reason. And I'm gonna sound completely horrible for saying this. I could actually understand. I could almost agree with his reasoning. Like, yeah, I don't like it, but it's like you actually get the idea too that he didn't want to do it if he didn't have to, but he felt he had to. He felt he had to save the universe. There's like finite universe, finite resources, and just ever growing life. Is like, no, we need to cull the herd. We need to save the universe this way. And you can see too again, he almost doesn't want to be doing it, but he feels he has to, and he will do anything to get to his goal, including sacrificing his daughter because that scene. First off, the Red Skull showing up. No one saw that coming. Like, what the hell? It's like, I am burdened with knowledge. And I'm like, okay, so did you being on this pretty much kind of make you immortal? Like, is there food on this planet you can just eat and survive? It's like, I'm whatever. And then he explains to us, like, you need to sacrifice something you love. And then you suddenly see the look on his face. Because we got that flashback with Thanos and Gamora. And you know what? Despite the fact he's a heinous overlord in many ways, like just a conqueror and a tyrant and a mad titan, you actually saw a man who cared for his daughter, who actually cared for this little girl. And you see him bring her food. It's like, I thought you might be hungry, and it's like, I hated this place. I hated you. You said that, and I hated my life. It's like, yeah, you said that too. But at the same time, you see, because the nature of the Soul Stone, you need to sacrifice something you really love. And he turns and looks at Gamora, and he's got tears in his eyes. He's just so hurt by what knows he needs to do to get the Soul Stone. And she's laughing, like, you're crying. Oh, come on. It's like, those tears aren't for him. And she realizes, like, the hell? It's like, yeah, it's like, despite everything, at least in his way, he loved Gamora. Like, he really loved her like his daughter. I'm like, dude, that is deeper than I think. The only one you could argue is maybe either Killmonger or Loki. Maybe, but like, because that's like the top tier, like, villains in the comic and the MCU at this moment is Thanos, and no particular order, mind you. Thanos, Killmonger, Loki, Vulture, and I'd actually make a firm argument for Ego. But yeah, those are like the big five for me, at least at the moment. I'd have to go through them all. Maybe I'll do like a bunch of top Marvel, like top Marvel movie villains and stuff like that at some point. But yeah, you see that, and then he just takes her, and she tries to kill herself, so he can't do it, and he just turns the knife into bubbles, like fucking bubbles, and then that slow mo where you just see, and then you see her body just, I'm like, Jesus, and then he gets the Soul Stone, like, wow. Just wow, dude. And then and then you get the moment where, and then we get near the end where it's the great battle on Titan, which is really awesome. You see Doctor Strange use the Crimson Bands as Cigarette, where I'm like, yeah, straight from the comics. And then they're doing the trippiness, multiple Stranges, and he used the Time Stone to gaze like 14 million something and whatever. How many did he win? One. And when Strange handed him the Time Stone, like gave it up for Stark's life. Because we think it's like, oh god, Tony's gonna die. It's like, nope. So no, it's like, I'll give it up. And it's like, we're in the end game now, Tony. And it was like, it was the only way. And then he disappeared. Was when people erased. And it occurred to me that it's like, no, Strange saw the one scenario where they won. So this had to happen for them to win. Basically, you lose the battle, but you win the war. And I think that's what Strange saw when he looked into the future. Which, to be fair, though, really, if Star-Lord hadn't lost it and started hitting Thanos in the face and basically pulled Mantis off because he was upset that he killed his girlfriend, obviously, they might have been able to get the gauntlet off Sand. They almost did, actually. But then, of course, you lead into the final fights, and then you get into the, because it's Stormbreaker stabs Thanos and just, it's like, you should have aimed for the head, and then there it is. Now, I'm wondering how it plays out. Was like people instantly gone, and then no, like you see first Bucky goes like, oh god. Then you see, who was it? Who was the next one who went? It was Bucky. You know what? I'm gonna get the description up. Hold on. Because you just see like a bunch of Wakandans starting to fade away too. Infinity War. All right. I'm trying to remember exactly what order it was in. And I don't know if it does it in order, but it will say which ones went, and I'll probably be able to remember off the top of my head who went in the order that they went. Okay, it went Barnes, and then I think it was doing it kind of off a little bit. Barnes, I know Wilson went. That one went and like, oh god, so Sam's gone. Then Groot goes, and that one hit hard for some people. And then T'Challa went, and I'm like, oh god. And then freaking Wanda went, and like, oh dear. And then Mantis, and then Star-Lord. I'm like, oh god, Quill's gone too. And then the one that was killing everyone just because of how well Tom Holland acted it out was when Peter went. He's just like, oh, despite everything he's done, he's still a kid. He doesn't want to die. He's scared as hell. And then he just goes, and you just see the look on Tony's face, just holy crap. And him and Nebula are stranded on Titan at that point. So it's just, and this end, and then you have that happen, and then you have the ending where Mark basically just said, what the fuck? And I heard someone briefly say it and likened it to a Western. I'm like, yeah, actually. Is that you see Thanos and he's healed, basically, because he briefly has a moment with Gamora, like probably in like the Soul World or something like that, where it's like the daughter, and it's like, did you do it? I did. What did it cost you? Everything. And then you just see him walking, which I believe is supposed to be Gamora's homeworld, because he said that it's now paradise now that he culled half the population. And you just see him there, and it is pretty much like he's just gazing on what he's done. He's just a content sigh, and he looks like he's at peace. Like, I did what I had to do, and now I saved the universe, and now I'm gonna just enjoy the rest of my existence peacefully. Just, and then done. Like, that was straight out of a Western, like an old school West. Like, whoa. It's like, now I know people are gonna. I've heard a lot of people loved it, but I'm also gonna hear I also know people are going to be upset because I know my girlfriend wasn't as happy with that ending. That's a hard hitting ending, and I've heard some people liken it to Empire Strikes Back. No, I'm going to disagree with that. I can see why, but I'm going to disagree. And the reason I'm going to disagree is on Empire Strikes Back, you still had a sense of hope at the end of that movie. Now granted, if you're really paying attention to the movie and know there's another Avengers movie coming next year and all that stuff, and you also know that, like, T'Challa is going to come back, and Spider-Man, and probably most of the Guardians are going to come back because they all have sequels coming. It's going to be a matter of who stays and who goes. And Avengers 4 is really going to be the one that determines who stays and who goes. But at the moment, yeah, it's still whoa. But Empire Strikes Back, the Empire won. They won that one. Han's been taken. Vader took Luke's hand. But at the end, you're like, see, Luke's got a new hand. Or was it this one? I think it was this one. Luke's got a new hand. You know, they're stinging out there. And it's like, you still get a sense of hope. In this, unless you're aware that things are going to probably be corrected next movie without a bunch of issue, this did not give you a sense of. This gave you a sense like he did it. He won. And for all intents, yeah, for runtime being, Thanos won. He got what he wanted, and that's where you end. It's like, wow. Now, I mean, one thing that someone pointed out too, and I think I noticed it too, is that the Avengers that are left, it's all the core Avengers. It's all the original. It's Cap. It's Iron Man. It's Black Widow. It's Hawkeye, who's still, I'm certain, is around. It's Bruce. It's Thor. It's the core Avengers still. Now, we're certain we'll still have some of the other Avengers still around. Like, we know Rocket's still there. We know War Machine's still there. Ant-Man's still probably going to be around, I'd hope. And we know Captain Marvel's showing up in Avengers 4. So, yeah, it's which, by the way, that end credit sequence or post credit sequence, that was a pretty nice little sequence where, you know, Mario Hill's going and then Fury's getting a pager out, and all of a sudden he's starting to go, motherfucker, and then he disappears. But then the pager goes, and then it's Captain Marvel symbol, and everyone in the crowd kind of just went, yeah, and then it just says Thanos will return. It's like, oh yeah, because that was what I was hoping to. With someone like Thanos and this nature of this storyline, I didn't know what the movie was really going to be. I hoped with Avengers 4 that it wasn't going to be like Secret Wars with the Skrull or something like that. I'm like, no, that wouldn't be a good follow up. At least not in my opinion anyway. No, it had to be Thanos still. Thanos still had to be the bad guy. And damn it all, if they did not make it work, if they did not do something fantastic with this movie. So, I mean, my overall thoughts. There are a couple minor things that I wasn't thrilled with. Again, a little shaky cam here and there. And even I'll say that while it was all really powerful when they all were just going like that, it loses something for me because I'm in touch with the movie sphere as much as I am. Not like, no, I don't know everything, but I'm more in touch with than Mark is, or my girlfriend is, or a lot of people are, because she didn't know that there was going to be these characters already had sequels coming. So, so I'm like, I had to explain, like, don't worry, they already have announced sequels from them. They're coming back. And that's the thing, I'm like, for the characters I knew were going to get sequels, I'm like, this kind of loses something for me a little bit, but at the same time, the emotional impact of these characters just go fading out of existence still is there. So, yeah. And Vision's currently dead, too. Supposedly. Mark made a good point, because he's a machine. She might have uploaded enough of him to maybe just remake Jarvis or something like that, at least. So maybe he's still around. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Anyway, though, what do I rate this? It's a 9 I'm going 9 out of 10, I think. 9 out of 10, I think, is solid. Again, for the little stuff there, and for me, it's more because I have too much knowledge about the movie universe that, some of those things don't have the same effect. It does hinder me just a tad bit. But in terms of it overall, for what this movie needed to be and what it was, I go 9 out of 10. Absolutely. So yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, for a spoiler review, this is going to be long. I was hoping Mark would be around to do this with me, but with the way moods were at the end of that evening with one of our party, it was a little and it wasn't going to work. People needed a drink is essentially what it was. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who to win, Star Wars, Degree of Magic, what if anything I do on the channel. Put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of that at some point as well. The Who Would Wins are still going on. I missed yesterday's because I was exhausted. Because I saw it on Thursday, got back at 1. Probably, and it was, probably maybe got, between waking up in the middle of the night and getting up for 7:30, I got maybe 5 or 4 hours of sleep at most. And then it just, I didn't, wait a minute. I'm using the Infinity condom. So yeah, actually, it's more. I might need a smaller size. Anyway, I digress. So I was just too tired to do videos yesterday. I was just drained. But I had the weekend off. I slept in. Got a decent amount of sleep. I'm still feeling a little iffy. Maybe I'll take a nap later. Just like nap. But until then, yeah, I'm feeling okay. So yeah, I'll get those 2 extra Who Would Wins, catch up, and yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you folks next time for give me 1 second. What is next week's movie? Because I'm probably gonna see Infinity War again next week, not on like Thursday, but like Tuesday matinee. And let's see, what is next week's movie? I didn't need Cinemark. I needed this one that will tell me what next week's movie is. Oh, I think it's Overboard is next week. Tully, Overboard, and Bad Samaritan. What is Breaking In for the week after that? That. Okay. I'll probably see Life of the Party instead. Not that it doesn't. Whatever. Home invasion movies aren't really. There's some genre movies I'm cool with, and others aren't my thing. Home invasion isn't really my thing unless it's done properly. Of course, you can say that for everything. Bad Samaritan. I've heard about that one with David Tennant, who's pretty much breaks into the guy's house. Turns out the guy's a psychopath and like a serial killer. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Maybe I'll just take a week off. Oh no, Overboard. We'll see what movies are getting showtimes where and when. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time, folks. Later. Yeah, let me try that again.